All right. Okay, so I think we can now go ahead. So I was talking about, I was still on the VLOOKUP. I think hope you still understand how we got to this very place. I think we have only called the, okay, let me just take it again. Let me just take it again so that, okay, so I want to implement my VLOOKUP here. Then I'll start by entering equals to sign. And then you type VLOOKUP. So the moment you activate the function, it will notify you that you have 3 parameters to supply. The first one is lookup value. And then the second one is the table array. And then followed by the column index number. Of course, like I said, whatever you have in this kind of selection brackets or square brackets is optional. So it's not compulsory you observe it. So what is my lookup value? My lookup value is what I validated. So I will just click on it and insert a comma. Now it shifted towards table array. What is your table array? Your table array is simply what? Defining the area where the lookup function should be able to find the record you are targeting. And that will take us back to the data set and take everything, excluding the header, then highlight the entire area. So what we have said, or what we have defined, is that VLOOKUP, you can search for the value within this area that is selected. That is, you are not allowed to search for the value outside this frame. That is what it means by table array. Then you insert a comma. The moment you add a comma, it will now shift to the next parameter, which is column. Ms. Franca, please, can you control your audio? You are welcome. Now, your column index number is actually specifying which of these columns VLOOKUP is going to search for the value from, because initially in a table array, you highlighted everything, but you need to be able to narrow it to a particular column where the VLOOKUP will search for that value. And remember what is going to search for is the branch for the ID we have selected. So what it means is that you take this column as your first column, and then you count this as 1, then this as 2. So meaning that you are telling the VLOOKUP that in that table array, once you count the first column, the second column, that is where you should find the branch. So you insert what? The 2, which means find the record a second column from the first column. Now you insert your comma to specify the true value and the false value. So what is true value and false value in this case? If the VLOOKUP function is able to find the value from the branch column, which is specified by entry column 2, then it should output what is there. For example, now, if this is the ID that I've selected, I am saying that if it should find it, it should pick A. Now, in a situation whereby the function, maybe as a result of not entering the right parameter, if you couldn't find the value, what should the user or what should the function output? That is the meaning of what? False value. So I will impute 0, meaning that if you can't find the value in this column 2, display 0. So once I see 0, it means that you could not find the value. So once I've done that, I press enter. It will automatically what? Fetch the value A. So what VLOOKUP have done now is that it depends on whatever that happened here. If you pick another value, you can see that what is now fetching C, meaning that this ID under branch is at what? C. Now that I have created this, what we are looking for is that as soon as I change my value here, as this place is updating, order, city should also update, customer type should update, gender should update, and then order header should update their value. So what I'm going to do is to copy the VLOOKUP that I have already implemented here from here. So I will take everything here and then right click, select what? Copy. Then take it to another application in order to drop the format. Because if you paste it here now, it's going to override this. So to avoid that, I will just take it to what? Microsoft Word in order to disconnect the Excel format from that function. So that when I copy it and repaste it, it will no longer take Excel format. So once I've pasted it here, then I'll go back to my Excel and press enter to generate this. Now I go back to Microsoft Word. Then I go back to Microsoft Word to copy the one I pasted. So I'll take it now, Control C, and then go back to Excel. In front of city, because we are yet to fetch city value, I'll paste, Control V. Then all I will do is to change this to what? 3. Meaning that fetch city from the third column from the one you validated. So it fetches what? Iago. Then paste again. Then I will change it to 4. And then press enter. So it fetches the what? The customer type. Then paste and change it to 5. Then paste again and change it to 6. Then paste again and then change it to 7. And then for quantity, paste again, change it to 8. Then for task, paste, change it to 8. Now let's assume that I change the ID. Just check how all the value will change. So you can see that it's communicating. So like I told us earlier on, this can be your receipts. That is, you must have entered all the customer name in a particular column here. And then in this VLOOKUP sheet, then I will have validated all the customer's name, such that once I pick a name of a customer that I want to generate receipt for, it will automatically what? Fetch all the transaction detail about that customer. And then from here, I can quickly what? Do my printing. That is if I want to print the receipts. But if I don't want, and then I stop there. So that is how you continue what? Pasting until So let me check here. Okay, it was 8, so here should be 9. Then let me paste here one more time. Then change here to 10. Paste, change it to 11. Paste, change it to 12. Paste, change it to 13. Paste. Let me paste here as well. Then I will just go back and change it to 14. Then change this to 15. So that is all. Now let me change my ID and see if it's going to fetch value for all the headers. So you can see it. So this is how to apply VLOOKUP. There, at the end of your report, you have to format it. So I will click on all the header, control, press down the control button, and then select just the header. Just the headers. I want to format them uniquely, just to differentiate them from the record. After that, I will right-click and choose fill color. Maybe red for those ones that I selected. Then I will also select the value. Hold down the control, select all the value section. Then right-click, then choose different fill color. So let's say I'm giving them this, and then change the text color to, let's say, white. Then at the end of the day, I will turn off the grid line from the sheet. I don't want to see the grid line. I want to look like an app. So I will go to view and then turn off what? Grid. Now it will not look like an app. Now let me change my value here. So you can see the way it's communicating. Now, you will notice that when you visit some supermarkets, this is actually what they do. They can employ a sales rep that does not have idea of the price list. They will tell the sales rep that once a customer walk in and asks for the cost of an item, then the name of the item will have been validated here. So once you pick, let's say somebody wants to buy computer, once you pick computer here, it will bring out what? The detail. So that this is one of the format most boutique, most supermarket pharmacies are using. So any question? So this is how to implement VLOOKUP. So if there is no question, then I will now take the conditional formatting as the last topic in Excel before we go to Microsoft Word. So I will just give us a few minutes to do that or to ask questions. Few minutes to ask questions. Is it clear to everybody? Was it clear to everybody? Please ask question. If you don't have question, okay, so I will assume that we are good to go. Like I said, the recorded video will be sent to every one of you. So you can take your time to watch it and understand it better. So let me quickly take the last topic in the cell, which is conditional formatting. So what is conditional formatting? All right, so what is conditional formatting? So the first thing I'm going to do, let me take this data. Let me take the data to a different sheet. Control C. Let me add another sheet. And Control V. So let me name it conditional formatting. So what is conditional formatting? Conditional formatting, or let me start by defining what formatting is as far as data management or entry is concerned. The word formatting in this case simply means to style or to determine the appearance of the collected data. Now, I can highlight the whole of this and then go to my home tab and choose a particular color, let's say this. So if I am asked, based on what criteria the whole of this session was formatted, there is no criteria defined. I simply what? Highlighted it, and then I added the color. But what I want to achieve is that I want some record to be differentiated from others. So I will now use conditional formatting as a function to differentiate them from others. Now, for example, a company can define their parameter for making those entries to appear in that form. It could be that, let me just say, for instance, now, the company wants any gross income that is greater than a particular value. The whole of that row will be formatted with maybe background red color, and all the write-up in that row will be formatted with text or white text color. So that once they see a row highlighted with red color and white text color, it means that these are the customers that are actually what are owing above the defined value. So how do I implement that? To implement that, you select the entire record. As usual, to select the entire record, select the first cell, hold down the control button and shift, then press the right arrow button to highlight across the horizontal axis, and then the down arrow button to take the vertical axis. Once you have done that, then you now go to Home tab and then select conditional formatting. Now, from conditional formatting, you go to New Rule because you want to set your function that will determine the record that will be formatted with the red background color and the text white color. So I'll click on New Rule. So from New Rule, I'll click on the last option, which says use a formula to determine which cell to format. So I'll click here. The moment you activate this, it will give you an empty text box where you have to construct the formula that will determine the record that will be formatted. Now, once you get to this particular section, then you need to first of all know the analysis question. What is the analysis question? The analysis question is that we want to highlight the entire row where city is equal to what? Yangon. So what it means is that the whole of this row will be given what? Red background, white text color. And then when you go to another cell where you have another Yangon, then that will also carry what? The defined format. So for that, I will just click on the first record, which does not really matter whether it's Yangon or Napite that is there, because this is just to define the range where the criteria will be defined. Now, there is what we call absolute argument in Excel and dynamic argument. Absolute argument is when an argument carries $sign. Like you can see it here, we have $C, $2. What it means is that you have limited the function to search for Yangon, which is going to be our what? Criteria, only within this column. It cannot search beyond this column. That is what we are saying, meaning that you have fixed the function to this column. Now, if you also allow the dollar to be attached to the number, which means what? The row 2. What it also means is that you have also fixed the function to be limited to what? Row 2. But meanwhile, we have other Yangon that can be traced in other row. So it is not right for us to what? To fix that row. So we delete the $sign from it, meaning that what? We have left that row. We have left the, that is, we have programmed the function to search across all the what? The rows, so that wherever it finds a Yangon, it should highlight or what? Limiting it to only what? Row 2. Then once you have done that, you enter your equals to. Then you cannot define the criteria. What is the criteria? Now the criteria, you use quotation, use quotation icon, use this to define the criteria, because the criteria is not stored in any variable within the data set. In this case, I'm not referencing the cell where I have Yangon, because that might output error. So I will now follow the way the Yangon is typed here, starting with capital letter, and then follow it just the way it is in the record. And then you also close it with the same quotation. So what we are saying is that in this variable, cell C2, if you can find value that is equals to Yangon, then format for me. Let me try and move. Let me try and move away this side. Sorry, let me move it here. Okay, so format. Sorry, I'm coming. Let me rectify this first. All right. So what I'm trying to do here is that for any record that is equals to Yangon in that range, fill the whole of that row with red background color, and then go to font to choose the text color under automatic to be white, and then click OK. Then you can see the format, then click OK. Now you can see that what? That is automatically what? Applied now. You can see that for any cell in city where the value is equal to Yangon, you have them taking what? The defined format. So this is how to apply conditional formatting. Any question? So I can take another criteria. Let's assume that I want to format all the NAPITE record with another format different from the red background, so that I can easily differentiate Yargon entry from NAPITE. So the same step, select the entire data, then go to home, then click on conditional formatting, then go to what? New rule, then select the last option. Then I will pick the range by selecting the first record, and then remove the $sign from the 2, and then enter equals to, and then define the criteria. So I can pick it from here now as my criteria. This time around, I'm not what? Entering it as an external value. Then I'll go to what? Format, then define different what? Background color, and then click OK, and then apply. So I have all the what? NAPITE formatted with the defined format. If I scroll down, you can see that you can easily differentiate NAPITE record from Yargon. So that is how to apply conditional formatting. So we will go for, let's say, a 5-minute break. And when we come back, if there is no question, then we quickly dive into Microsoft Word.